A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant escalation of its efforts to suppress dissent, Hong Kong authorities have intensified their crackdown on 16 overseas-based activists who were previously targeted with bounties due to allegations of endangering national security. On Monday, officials announced new measures aimed at restricting these activists' financial support and revoking their passports, further isolating them from potential resources and allies. This move comes in the wake of a broader campaign initiated in July, when arrest warrants were issued for 19 individuals linked to a controversial organization that the Hong Kong police have labeled as a subversive organization abroad. This group, which claims to represent the interests of Hong Kong's democracy movement, operates outside the jurisdiction of the city's official legislature and has faced criticism for its limited influence and effectiveness. The crackdown reflects the Hong Kong government's ongoing commitment to combat what it perceives as threats to national security, particularly in light of the pro-democracy protests that erupted in 2019. The authorities have increasingly adopted a hardline stance, utilizing the national security law imposed by Beijing to justify their actions against dissenting voices. The 16 activists targeted in this latest round of measures include prominent figures who have been vocal in their opposition to the Hong Kong government and its policies. Among the newly affected activists, many have been living abroad for years, advocating for international support for the pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong. The government's decision to cancel their passports effectively leaves them stranded in their respective countries, unable to return to Hong Kong without facing arrest. Additionally, the ban on financial support poses a significant threat to their ability to sustain their activism and livelihood. This crackdown has drawn widespread condemnation from human rights organizations and foreign governments, who argue that it represents a blatant violation of fundamental freedoms and human rights. Critics assert that the measures are part of a broader strategy to silence dissent and instill fear among those who dare to challenge the government's authority. In response to these developments, several activists have taken to social media to express their defiance and call for solidarity among supporters of democracy. They argue that the Hong Kong government's actions will only serve to galvanize the movement and inspire more individuals to stand up against oppression. As the situation unfolds, it remains to be seen how the international community will respond to these escalating measures. There are calls for governments around the world to impose sanctions on Hong Kong officials responsible for human rights abuses and to provide support for activists facing persecution. The crackdown on these overseas activists highlights the ongoing struggle for democracy in Hong Kong and raises critical questions about the future of freedom and human rights in the region. The implications of these actions extend beyond Hong Kong, as they signal a growing trend of authoritarianism in the face of dissent. As governments around the world grapple with the challenges posed by activism and dissent, the situation in Hong Kong serves as a stark reminder of the lengths to which authorities may go to maintain control. The global community must remain vigilant and committed to supporting those who fight for democracy and human rights, even in the face of oppressive regimes. In conclusion, the intensified crackdown on overseas activists marks a troubling chapter in Hong Kong's ongoing struggle for democracy. As the government continues to wield the national security law as a weapon against dissent, the resilience of activists and their supporters will be tested. The world watches closely as the situation evolves, and the fight for freedom in Hong Kong remains as critical as ever. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.